Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Coloring and Comments, a channel where I color in mandalas and, well, basically not only mandalas, I color in everything, but we're coloring mandalas and talk to you about different topics that are on my mind. And today's video is going to look at attachment styles, and this was inspired by my sister's wedding this past December. Weddings mean family, and family for me means anxiety and fear. And this is not because I don't like my family. I do like most of them. But it's because I can't relate to everyone in the way that I think that I should. And as I tried to understand why this might be the case, I stumbled on the concept of attachment styles. So what is attachment styles, you might be asking? Maybe not, but I'll tell you. Attachment styles is a term that is used to describe how we interact and behave in relationships, both romantic and platonic. This attachment, according to British psychologist John Bowlby, is formed in early childhood between a child and their caregiver. The manner in which we interact and relate to our caregiver as children impacts the manner in which we view and operate in relationships as adults. To better understand how this is the case, we need to understand the 4 characteristics of attachment. The 4 characteristics of attachment are safe haven, separation distress, proximity maintenance, and secure base. So I'm going to go into each of these a bit more. The first one being safe haven. When a child feels threatened or afraid, they turn to the caregiver for comfort and support. So when a child cries, when a baby cries, they expect their caregiver to either cuddle them, to feed them, to change their diaper, or whatever else the adult needs to do in order to make them feel secure and to take away that discomfort. But what happens when the caregiver doesn't take away that comfort? Well, the baby stops crying because they realize that the calls for distress will not be met. And as adults, this impacts one's ability to seek help and comfort from those around us. I know this can be many of us. The second one is separation distress. There's a video or an experiment by Mary Ainsworth called Strange Situation, which beautifully illustrates this. And I hope to remember so I can link it in the description box below. But with separation distress, it looks at when the primary caregiver of a baby leaves them behind, the baby will start crying. And this is perfectly normal because it shows that the baby has a healthy relationship or attachment to this caregiver. But what happens when the caregiver returns, so they go and they come back, and the child still cries after they come back? And this indicates that the child is still anxious. The child still believes that that caregiver is going to go and leave them at any time. And this, in turn, creates insecure adults who feel as though they cannot engage in relationships to a fully committed extent because that person or that friend is going to leave at any time. Number 3. Proximity maintenance. Characteristic is developed as a child or baby begins to be more mobile. So they start walking, running. So as a child begins to feel safe to venture out, to put some distance between themselves and that caregiver, they will still keep an eye on that caregiver to make sure that the caregiver is there to help them if anything is to happen. So this caregiver acts as a safe base for the child. But each child has a different radius, they say. So for each child, there is a specific distance that they can be from their caregiver before they feel left alone or isolated. So what happens when the adult, not the child, but the adult continuously goes outside the radius of the child's proximity? So the adult continuously leaves the space in which the child feels safe. So to make it visual is, if a child feels safe to be 5 meters away from the adult, and they can see the adult and they're okay, they will be fine as long as the adult remains in that 5-meter radius. But the moment that the adult decides that, you know what, I need a Coke or coffee, and I need to be 10 meters away from this child to do that, this child becomes afraid that the adult will leave them alone, because the adult has left that 5-meter radius. And as adults, this translates into separation anxiety, where one sense of security can only be found when the other person is around. So when your partner leaves or when your friend leaves, you immediately feel like that person will no longer want to be my partner, want to be my friend, because they're no longer next to me. Okay. Number 4, which is secure base. And this ties well into the proximity maintenance, because with a secure base, the child gets older and that radius increases, right? So from 5 meters, maybe the child goes to 10 meters, knowing that, okay, now I can go further from my caregiver, but I know my caregiver is still in my radius. The child will play and look back to confirm that their caregiver is still there. That's why you see situations where when you're looking after kids, they will go outside, play, act like you're not there, and then randomly come back to see if you're still seated where you are. And if for some reason you stood up and went to the bathroom and they come in, they can't find you, they panic. Because you have left the secure base, you are no longer there, they do not feel secure, they feel afraid. So the concept is as simple as that. But the secure base goes further, because this is where the connection with proximity maintenance stops, in the sense that the secure base says that when that child comes back, so the kid ran, played around, and came back and found you in the same spot, how do you react when that child comes back? If the adult is welcoming, hugs the kid, tells them, "Oh, you're doing great," and then the kid goes back and starts playing again, then the child knows that, okay, not only is that person still in my radius, but that person will always be there for me. So that when I go back, I still feel that love, I still feel connection, I still feel that they are there for me to take away my discomfort. And I still feel like even if they have to leave, i.e. I can't see them, when they come back, i.e. the child running back to you, they're not leaving anytime soon, because they stayed in the same position. So you can see that security base ties all of the other 3 characteristics together. But secure base also says that if the caregiver fails to welcome back this child, either by being busy when the child is back, so the child runs back and you're like, "Oh, no, I'm still cleaning, go back. Or if the caregiver acts like they can't even see the child, then this child will feel as though they do not have any safe space to go, because the space that they thought was safe no longer wants them there, or is no longer provided. So as adults, this causes us to be more distant or attached, because out of fear that we will be rejected, or fear that that person won't be there after we leave for a period of time, or we move to a different country, or whatever. Feeling as though you don't have a secure base as an adult. And this often is what leads to a lot of adults that classify themselves as lone wolves, where they say, I don't need nobody, I can do good by myself, because they don't want to see someone or see relationships as a secure base, because they feel like nobody will be there when they turn around and come back and need comfort or whatever. So the way in which these 4 characteristics interact with each other and are shaped as you grow up develops your attachment style. And there are 4 distinct attachment styles. So the work done by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth together have identified these 4 attachment styles. These are, number 1, secure attachment style; 2, ambivalent or anxious attachment style; avoidant attachment style; and disorganized attachment style. So we'll start with number 1, the secure attachment style, which is an attachment style that we all want to have. With a secure attachment style, the child is confident that when they seek help from the caregiver, they'll get it. When they want comfort from the caregiver, they'll get it. They know that they can wander and come back to the secure base. And as an adult, this translates to a confident adult that feels secure in their relationships and can regulate their emotions when they're in these relationships. And when they have difficult or uncomfortable emotions, they can clearly communicate these feelings effectively. So that's where we all want to be. But unfortunately, due to different things that happen in our lives, most of us develop one of the other 3. One of these being the anxious attachment style. So with an anxious attachment style is where the child becomes upset when the caregiver leaves and becomes aggressive towards the caregiver when they come back. And this is because the caregiver is inconsistent in their parenting patterns. So the child doesn't feel safe at times because they don't know if the caregiver will be there, will be able to give them comfort. So it's that uncertainty that causes that aggression in the child. As adults, these children become adults that have abandonment issues. They suffer from low self-esteem, and this translates to being very clingy in relationships. You cling to your partner, you cling to your friends because you're so scared that they will leave, and that will create uncertainty, and that uncertainty makes you extremely anxious. The 3rd attachment style, the avoidant attachment style, I call it the lone wolf. In this attachment style, they say that children that develop this attachment style is because the caregiver ignores their needs, or the caregiver pushes them to become more independent, or the caregiver punishes the child for expressing their emotions. So the child soon realizes that their needs will go unmet, and they start suppressing their feelings because they know that they'll be met with aggression or anger from the caregiver, and they avoid seeking help. And as adults, these children appear, very important word, confident and self-sufficient. But in reality, they struggle to build healthy relationships and are uncomfortable with emotional or physical intimacy. The 4th attachment style is the disorganized attachment style. This attachment style develops due to the inconsistent behavior of caregivers. So for the child, the caregiver becomes both a source of comfort and a source of fear. And this style is often seen in people that have physically, verbally, or been SA'd in their childhood. And as adults, they develop a fear of intimacy and avoid proximity. So they avoid being close to people, whether it's emotionally or physically. Although they long for these relationships, they are afraid and believe that rejection and disappointment are inevitable in all relationships. This manner of thinking can result in self-sabotage, with the results being ending relationships prematurely, right? So it's a thing of, let me end it before the other person can end it, then I won't get hurt, then at least I know how this situation is going to pan out. So adults with a disorganized attachment style are at higher risk of developing mental health issues, such as substance abuse, depression, borderline personality, etc. So identifying your attachment style is so important because it allows you to see aspects of yourself and allows you to differentiate what is your personality and what is learned behavior caused by childhood trauma, right? Through this process of discovery, I realized that I have a disorganized attachment style. And I discovered this not only through reading, but I also did the quiz, which I will also link in the description box. And I encourage everyone to take it because you really learn a lot about yourself. So realizing or discovering that I have a disordered attachment style made me more kinder to myself, in the sense that I always felt that I was a terrible human being by being so, I don't know how to describe it. I have this thing where I can be friends with someone, but in my mind, I don't feel as though I am a very close or good friend to this person. And that is obviously stems from the fact that people with disorganized attachment styles are afraid of that proximity. But at the same time, I really want to be good friends with this person because this person is a very good individual, right? And that is the part where we still long for relationships. And there are times when I don't even know how to navigate in my friendships because I'm like, I don't want to screw this up because you're amazing, but at the same time, am I really good enough to be your friend? Am I really giving you what you need? Are you going to wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, she's terrible. I don't want to be her friend no more, you know? So identifying and realizing this has really allowed me to be kinder to myself and allowed me to realize that I am a good friend in the way that I know how to be, and that I am learning every day how to be a better friend, a better colleague, a better wife, as I learn more about myself and heal the parts of me that resulted in this attachment style. But you don't have to be worried, regardless of what attachment style that you have, if it's not secure, because an attachment style is not set in stone. Things that we can do to change our attachment styles, and in order for us to move to a more secure attachment style. And if this is something that you'd like to hear more of, just let me know in the comment section, and I will definitely make another video of how can we move. I say we because I'm not there yet, okay? I am working to secure, but I'm not there yet. So how we can move towards being or having more secure attachment styles in our relationships. And that's it from me. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. May your day be colorful and wonderful, and I'll see you in the next one.